You are waiting, waiting for a sign, waiting for permission, waiting for the right moment that never comes. And while you wait, life passes you by like shadows across the wall. But what if I told you the moment you are waiting for has already arrived? What if abundance is not something you chase, but something you embody right now? This is not philosophy for the weak. This is power for the unshakable. This is mastery for those who refuse to kneel before circumstance. If you stay with me until the end, you will walk away with a different mind, a different spirit, and a different command over your life. Before we begin, take this vow of presence, subscribe to this channel, leave your mark with a like, and decide right now that you will not return to who you were before hearing these words. Your time here is not entertainment. It is transformation, and transformation demands commitment. So breathe, listen, and prepare yourself. 1. The illusion of waiting. You have been trained to believe that life will one day start when conditions are perfect, when the money arrives, when the recognition comes, when someone finally validates your worth. But picture yourself standing in the desert, holding an empty cup, waiting for rain. You wait a day, a week, a year. Still, the sky does not open. And then you realize the water was beneath your feet all along. The well was always there, buried under your hesitation. Waiting is the habit of the powerless. Acting, even in silence, is the ritual of those who own their destiny. Ask yourself, how many years have you given away to hesitation? How many doors have closed because you would not move? How much power have you surrendered to the fantasy of someday? History does not remember those who waited. It remembers those who seized, those who claimed, those who moved without permission. 2. Silence is not weakness. Silence is control. Imagine a warrior who does not flinch when insulted, who does not rush when provoked. His silence terrifies more than his words ever could. Why? Because silence reveals mastery. When you speak without thought, you bleed energy. When you hold your tongue, you sharpen your blade. The world tells you to react, to fight every insult, to prove your worth in noise and display. But the ancients knew a darker truth. He who controls his silence controls the battlefield. Picture yourself in the next confrontation you face. Instead of explaining, instead of defending, you breathe once, you watch the other, and you say nothing. Watch how their power dissolves. Watch how your presence grows heavier. This is the silence of kings, the silence of philosophers, the silence of those who cannot be shaken. 3. Detachment is freedom. You cling to approval, to possessions, to identities that crumble like dust when the storm comes. And because you cling, you suffer. The moment you release, you rise. The Stoics understood this centuries ago. They trained themselves to imagine the loss of everything they loved, not to be cruel, but to be free. Imagine closing your eyes right now and seeing all that you hold dear, your wealth, your reputation, even the people who surround you dissolve into mist. For one breath, you own nothing. For one breath, you are no one. Now, in that emptiness, notice what remains: power, control, the unshakable center that cannot be stolen. That is who you are, not the possessions, not the applause, not the fragile identity built on external ground. You are the flame that burns whether the room is full or empty. 4. The mastery of inner vision. What you picture becomes what you hold. What you expect becomes what you meet. Most live blind, stumbling through each day, reacting to whatever appears. But the masters live with vision. They walk into tomorrow, already seeing what they will create. Picture yourself stepping into a room where your future self stands. That self looks at you with calm authority, with confidence, with mastery. Ask them, what did you do differently? Listen to their answer. It is not complicated. It is not dramatic. It is consistent discipline. One choice repeated until it shaped the entire course of destiny. Do you see the power of this exercise? You are not imagining fantasy. You are rehearsing reality. Every time you close your eyes and walk into that room, you bring more of that future into the present. Visualization is not daydreaming. It is training. Training your nervous system to believe, to expect, to demand. 5. Control begins with the body. Do you think power lives only in the mind? No. The mind is the general, but the body is the army. If the army is weak, the general has no victory. Picture an ancient emperor commanding legions. Now imagine those legions are starved, scattered, undisciplined. His command means nothing. But if his legions are trained, fed, sharpened, His word shakes empires. Your body is your legion. Every breath, every movement, every habit is either discipline or decay. You cannot control the storms outside, but you can command the fortress of your flesh. Sit straight, breathe deep, control the rhythm of your heart. You think this is small? Empires were built on rituals smaller than this. Begin with the body, and the mind will follow. 6. The dark truth about fear. Fear is not your enemy. Fear is your map. Imagine standing in front of two doors. One door feels safe, familiar. The other makes your chest tighten, your throat dry. Which door hides your destiny? Always the second. Always the one that shakes your bones. Every great figure of history walked through that door. The generals who faced impossible battles. The thinkers who challenged entire empires of belief. The prophets who stood alone against nations. Fear pointed the way. Those who followed fear's signal became legends. Those who avoided it vanished into the crowd. What is the door in your life right now that you refuse to open? The conversation, the decision, the risk. That is your path. Your fear is the compass. Obey it, and you rise. Deny it, and you stay chained. 7. The discipline of solitude. Noise is poison. Distraction is the weapon that weakens empires. If you cannot sit with yourself, you cannot command yourself. Picture the great thinkers of the past alone in cells, caves, deserts. They did not run from silence. They entered it like a temple. What do you do when you are alone? Do you reach for a screen? Do you escape into endless chatter? Or do you sit, breathe, and face the storm within? Your solitude reveals your strength. It reveals whether you are master or servant of your own mind. Practice solitude. Practice it until silence becomes your ally, not your enemy. Only then will the noise of the world lose its hold over you. 8. The shift from victim to ruler. Listen carefully. This is the pivot of your life. Every day you tell yourself stories. They did this to me. The world is unfair. I am trapped. These are the whispers of the victim. The victim waits. The victim complains. The victim blames. And in doing so, the victim forfeits power. But the ruler, he does not complain. He does not wait. He does not blame. He declares. He commands. He creates. Which voice is speaking louder in you right now? The voice of the victim or the voice of the ruler? If you continue to wait, you remain a servant. If you claim power, you step into rulership. And rulership is not given. It is taken. This is your choice. Right here. Right now. 9. The hidden contract of reality. Life gives nothing to the one who doubts, but life opens to the one who commits. Imagine walking across a bridge that appears only after you step forward. To the doubter, the bridge is invisible. To the one who moves, stone by stone appears beneath their feet. This is the hidden contract. Reality waits for you to believe first, to act first, to commit before you see the evidence. Only then does the evidence appear. You want abundance, live as if it is already yours. You want power, move as if you already command it. This is not delusion. This is the code of creation. 10. The awakening. Now imagine waking tomorrow with this new mind. You rise not as a beggar waiting for gifts, but as a sovereign already in possession. You walk not as one who seeks approval, but as one who carries approval in his bones. You speak not as one desperate to be heard, but as one whose silence is enough. Feel that power for a moment. Close your eyes and breathe it in. That is not fantasy. That is you if you choose. This is only the beginning. We are carving the foundation of your unshakable self. In the next part, we will descend deeper into the dark roots of control, the hidden laws of mastery, and the path to living as if your destiny is already sealed. So stay, because the journey does not end here. It begins. Here, you are standing at the edge of a mirror. On one side is the self you have always known, hesitant, uncertain, chained to the weight of old stories. On the other side is a figure you barely recognize, calm, sovereign, unshakable. Which reflection will you step into? The choice is yours, but understand this. Once you walk through, there is no return. 1. The law of inner command. Power does not begin with conquest. Power begins with obedience to your own mind. Imagine a general who cannot command his own soldiers, shouting orders into chaos. His authority is an illusion. Now ask yourself, if you cannot command your own thoughts, if you cannot hold your own focus for even 5 minutes, what power do you truly possess? Control begins when you master the battlefield inside your skull. It begins with discipline over the invisible armies of thought that march every second of your life. Close your eyes. Watch your thoughts parade before you. Are they orderly? Are they aligned? Or are they scattered? Frantic? Rebellious? This is your legion. If they do not obey you, the outer world never will. Train them, sharpen them, command them. To rituals of mastery. Greatness is not built on grand gestures, but on relentless rituals. Picture a sculptor with a block of stone. Each strike of the chisel seems insignificant, but after 1,000 strikes, the figure emerges. This is mastery, small disciplines repeated until they carve reality itself. What are your rituals? The morning you command your breath, your body, your focus, the night you close your eyes and shape your vision of tomorrow. These are not optional. These are sacred. Neglect them and you return to dust. Honor them and you rise as master. 3. The shadow of distraction. Distraction is not harmless. It is theft. Every time you surrender to meaningless noise, you are robbed of destiny. Imagine an emperor signing away his kingdom, one careless stroke at a time, not in battle, but in boredom. That is what distraction does. It does not kill you quickly. It erodes you silently. How much of your life has been drained through glowing screens? Trivial words, hollow pursuits. Imagine holding those hours in your hands. Imagine the empire you could have built with them. This is the true cost of distraction. The enemy is not outside. The enemy is the weakness that seeks escape from silence. Master silence. A distraction loses its chains. 4. The furnace of struggle. You cry out against struggle as if it is a curse, but struggle is the furnace that shapes steel. Picture a blade forged without fire, weak, brittle, shattered with the first strike. Now picture a blade tempered in heat, folded, hammered, burned, and refined. That is the weapon that endures. Your struggles are the furnace. Your pain is the hammer. Your ignorance is the steel. Do not flee the fire. Enter it. Let it strip away the false. Let it reveal the core that cannot be broken. The ones who avoid struggle remain soft. The ones who embrace it emerge unshakable. 5. The dominion of time. Time is not your servant. Time is your master until you seize it. Picture a river carrying all men to the same sea. Most float helplessly, tossed by currents, drowning in distractions. But a few carve boats, seize oars, and cut through the water with direction. Which are you? Every second you live is a coin from a treasure chest you cannot refill. How are you spending it? On noise, on weakness, or on the construction of empire? The ancients counted life not in years, but in moments of presence. Master your moments, and you master eternity. 6. The mask of identity. You think you know who you are. You repeat your name, your history, your roles. But these are masks, not essence. You are not the job. You are not the reputation. You are not the fragile story others tell about you. Imagine tearing away each mask, one by one, beneath the face of the professional, beneath the face of the friend, beneath the face of the child, the parent, the role you cling to. What remains? Silence, presence, the raw awareness that watches all. That is your true identity. Unshakable, eternal, beyond decay. Live from there, and the masks can change. But the self does not. 7. The oath of detachment. Repeat this silently. Now, I own nothing, and therefore nothing owns me. That is freedom. You cannot lose what you do not cling to. You cannot be destroyed when you are already empty. This is the paradox of power. The less you grasp, the more you command. Picture a ruler who needs constant validation. His throne is fragile, for the crowd can take it away. Now picture a ruler who sits in silence, content without applause. His throne is eternal, for it is rooted not in others, but in himself. Be that ruler. Let go, and watch how power flows to you, not away. 8. The abyss of mortality. You pretend you have endless time. You live as if tomorrow is guaranteed. But one truth cannot be denied. Your breath is numbered. Each inhale is a countdown. The grave waits, and it does not bargain. Why do I remind you of this? To weaken you? No, to awaken you. The moment you feel the shadow of mortality on your neck, you stop wasting your life. You stop waiting for permission. You begin. Imagine death whispering, you have 1 year left. What would you create? How would you live? Why are you not living that way already? 9. The discipline of focus. Focus is the sword that cuts through chaos. Without it, you wander. With it, you conquer. Imagine holding a magnifying glass under the sun. Scattered light warms. Focused light ignites fire. The same sun, the same power, only concentrated. Your life is the same. Do not scatter yourself across 100 trivial pursuits. Choose one. Pierce it. Master it. That is how empires are built, not through diffusion, but through concentrated fire. 10. The unshakable will. When all else is stripped away, when wealth, reputation, and comfort are gone, one thing remains. Will. Will is the flame that refuses to die. Imagine standing in darkness with nothing left. No allies, no resources, no hope. Yet inside you, a spark still burns. That spark is will. That spark is what makes the weak kneel and the strong rise. Guard your will above all else. Feed it. Discipline it. Let no one break it. For if your will is unshakable, nothing can enslave you. This is the path, the descent into mastery. You are not here to be comforted. You are here to be broken open, reforged, and reborn. As you listen, feel the weight of these truths pressing against your old identity. Resist the urge to retreat. Sit with the discomfort, for discomfort is the doorway. Beyond it lies the self you have always feared to meet, the self that is sovereign, powerful, untouchable. Do not stop here. In the next part, we go deeper still into the mechanics of power, the training of mind and spirit, and the art of living as if abundance is already yours. Stay with me. The journey is only beginning. You are beginning to sense it, the shift, the weight of old illusions crumbling. But this journey does not end with awareness. Awareness is only the spark. Mastery demands fire, and the fire is lit in the darkest chambers of your mind. Enter with me now. Do not look away. 1. The crucible of choice. At every moment, the paths open before you, the path of ease and the path of power. Ease whispers. Rest. Wait. Hide. Power demands. Rise. Move. Act. Which path have you chosen more often? Look honestly. Your life right now is the sum of those choices. The body you carry, the relationships you hold, the opportunities you see or have lost. Each one is the shadow of past decisions. Picture yourself at a crossroads again. To the left, comfort. To the right, struggle. If you choose comfort, the path is smooth, but it circles back into the same valley. If you choose struggle, the path is steep, but at the summit stands sovereignty. Which will you choose tonight? 2. The mirror of discipline. Do not mistake discipline for punishment. Discipline is the mirror that shows you who you are becoming. Imagine a soldier training in the cold before dawn. His breath burns, his muscles ache, but each repetition is not. Suffering it is prophecy. Every strike of the sword, every drop of sweat, is a declaration of who he will be when battle comes. What is your discipline? What is your mirror? If you avoid discipline, you avoid the truth of yourself. If you embrace it, you sharpen into the weapon you were always meant to be. 3. The exile of weakness. Weakness is not just lack of strength. Weakness is addiction to comfort. Weakness is the reflex to complain. Weakness is the demand for sympathy instead of responsibility. You must exile weakness from your kingdom. Imagine you are the ruler of a fortress. Inside your gates live allies and traitors. Weakness is the traitor that opens the door to the enemy. Would you let it remain? Would you tolerate its betrayal, or would you cast it out? Knowing that mercy to weakness is cruelty to your destiny, do not tolerate weakness in yourself. Do not nurture it with excuses. Hunt it, expose it, expel it. Only then will your fortress stand unshaken. 4. The dark meditation. Most meditate for calm, for relief, for light. But there is another meditation, a darker one. Sit alone. Close your eyes. Imagine everything you fear most unfolding before you. Loss, rejection, failure, death. Do not escape the vision. Enter it. Breathe it. Endure it. Why? Because the moment you rehearse the worst, you rob it of power. The storm you imagine cannot destroy you when it arrives, for you have already walked through it in the silence of your mind. The Stoics called this premeditation of adversity. I call it the shield of sovereignty. Practice it, and nothing can break you. 5. The chain of comparison. You destroy yourself every time you measure your life against another's. Comparison is the chain that keeps you crawling. Picture 2 men running. One stares at the finish line. The other stares sideways, counting the strides of his rival. Which one wins? The one who refuses to look away from his own path. You are not here to be them. You are here to be you, but not the fragile you built on doubt. The sovereign you that stands untouched by others. Break the chain of comparison, and you will finally run free. 6. The art of controlled withdrawal. Power does not always attack. Sometimes it withdraws. Imagine a general who retreats not from fear, but from strategy. He pulls back the higher ground, waits, watches, then strikes with precision. You must do the same in life. Not every battle deserves your energy. Not every conflict is worthy of your fire. Withdraw when the field is poisoned. Withdraw when the noise drowns truth. Withdraw to preserve your strength for the battles that matter. This is not cowardice. This is mastery. 7. The training of the will. Your will is like a muscle. If you never test it, it withers. If you test it daily, it becomes unbreakable. Practice small acts of control. Refuse the comfort you crave. Delay the pleasure you seek. Sit with hunger for an hour. Walk into the cold without complaint. These are not punishments. These are weights that train the muscle of will. Picture a blacksmith hammering iron again and again. Each strike makes it harder, stronger, sharper. Every small act of self-denial hammers your will into steel, and when life demands great strength, your will is ready. 8. The solitude of kings. The higher you rise, the lonelier it becomes. Power does not walk in crowds. Mastery does not thrive in noise. Imagine a king on his throne, surrounded by advisors, servants, voices. But when the hour of decision comes, he is alone. Alone with the weight of choice. Alone with silence. Alone with himself. You must learn to bear solitude, to sit without distraction, without escape, without the comfort of constant noise. If you cannot bear yourself, you cannot bear destiny. Solitude is not exile. It is coronation. 9. The oath of presence. Too many lie half dead, consumed by past regrets or future fantasies. But power is never found yesterday, nor tomorrow. Power is only ever found now. Imagine a warrior in battle, his mind drifting to memories or dreams. He dies, only the one anchored in the present survives. Presence is your weapon. Anchor yourself in this breath, this moment, this choice. Every time you wander, return. Every time you drift, anchor again. Presence is not a gift. It is a discipline. 10. The throne of abundance. Abundance is not earned in the future. Abundance is claimed in the present. The beggar waits for proof before he believes. The sovereign believes first, and proof bends to his belief. This is the hidden law. Picture yourself seated on a throne, not because the world crowned you, but because you crowned yourself. You sit not with arrogance, but with certainty. You walk not with desperation, but with presence. Abundance is not coming. Abundance is here. It was always here. The only question is whether you will live as if it is already yours. Feel that throne beneath you now. See the crown upon your head. Hear the silence of sovereignty in your chest. This is not fantasy. This is reality if you dare to claim it. Do not retreat. Do not delay. For in the next part, we descend into the deepest layer, the final transformation, the unshakable code, the living proof that you are already whole. Stay with me. The last step awaits. You have now walked through the gates of silence, discipline, detachment, mastery, but one truth remains above them all. Power is not something you chase. Power is something you embody. The weak wait for certainty. The strong act as if it is already theirs. The principle of abundance. Scarcity is the oldest illusion. It whispers that there is not enough time, not enough love, not enough wealth. But scarcity lives only in the mind. In reality, abundance surrounds you, waiting to be recognized. Picture a desert wanderer who believes he is dying of thirst. He walks past an oasis, but his eyes are closed. He cannot see the water, though it is right there. That is how most live, blind to the abundance that already surrounds them. When you operate from scarcity, you cling, you panic, you compare, you compete. But when you operate from abundance, you release, you create, you share, you expand. The Roman Stoics understood this. They did not measure wealth by coins, but by freedom. Freedom from need, freedom from desperation. True power is not in what you hold, but in what you no longer need to hold. Imagine yourself stepping into a room full of people. Some are desperate for validation. Some are grasping for attention. But you radiate calm certainty. You do not chase. You do not cling. That is abundance embodied. Others feel it without you speaking a word. Abundance is not about luxury. It is about presence. It is about knowing that no matter what is taken, you remain whole. No matter what is denied, you remain unbroken. Do you see now? The world bends to those who are already full. Empty souls chase. Full souls attract. The principle of faith in action. Faith is not belief. Belief can be shaken, faith cannot. Faith is the anchor when storms rage. Faith is the unseen hand that guides when logic fails. But faith without action is dead. To believe and not move is to suffocate in potential. Action is faith made flesh. Imagine standing at the edge of a cliff, told there is an invisible bridge waiting. Many will stand forever, waiting for proof. Only those who take the step will feel the stone beneath their feet. That is faith in action. Great empires were built not by certainty, but by faith. Faith in vision, faith in unseen outcomes. Caesar did not cross the Rubicon because he had a guarantee. He crossed because he chose faith over hesitation. You too must cross your Rubicon. Not tomorrow, not someday. Now that faith is not passive. Faith is aggressive. It declares, though I cannot see, I will move. It whispers, though the world doubts me, I know. Ask yourself, where in your life have you been waiting for certainty? Where have you stood at the cliff, afraid to take the step? Do you not see? The bridge appears only when you walk. So walk. The principle of death awareness. To live as if life is endless is to waste it. To remember death is to sharpen it. The Stoics meditated on mortality daily, not as a morbid ritual, but as a liberation. When you remember you will die, fear loses its hold. Insults lose their weight. Petty desires lose their fire. Imagine holding an hourglass in your hand, sand slipping through grain by grain. You cannot stop it. You cannot slow it. That sand is your life. Each grain that falls will never return, yet most squander their sand. They waste it on resentment, on gossip, on chasing shadows. Only those who face death with open eyes know how to live. Death awareness gives you urgency. It gives you clarity. It reminds you, what you fear today will vanish with time. What you delay today may never come again. Picture yourself standing at your own grave, looking back at your life. Would you be proud, or would you whisper, I waited too long? The answer is in your hands now. Not then, now. The principle of unshakable calm. The world will try to shake you. It will test you with storms, betrayals, collapses. But your true measure is not how loudly you speak, but how silently you stand. Imagine the eye of a hurricane. All around, chaos, winds howling, destruction tearing. But in the center, stillness. That is your task, to become the eye. Unshakable calm is not weakness, it is supreme strength. Anyone can panic, anyone can rage, few can remain unmoved. When you are calm, you see clearly. When you are calm, you decide wisely. When you are calm, you master not only yourself, but those who cannot master themselves. Philosophers, warriors, sages, they all knew this truth. Control of the battlefield begins with control of the mind. Do you see now? Calmness is the highest form of power. Silence is the loudest roar. The principle of alignment. Power scattered is power wasted. Power aligned is unstoppable. When thought, word, and deed move in the same direction, mountains crumble. Most people live divided. They think one thing, say another, and do yet another. This fragmentation weakens them. It makes them hollow. But when you align your inner world, you become a force. Imagine a spear thrown with perfect focus. It pierces deeper than 100 scattered arrows. Alignment demands honesty. Brutal honesty with yourself. What do you truly want? What do you truly value? And are your actions proving it or betraying it? A man in alignment cannot be manipulated. A woman in alignment cannot be broken, for they are whole. So align. Align your mind, your speech, your choices, and watch the universe align with you. The principle of transcendence. All the lessons have led you here. Silence, discipline, detachment, mastery, abundance, faith, death awareness, calm, alignment. Each one is a rung on the ladder. And where does the ladder lead? Beyond the self. True power is not about conquering others. True power is about transcending the false self, the ego, the fragile mask, the endless hunger. Picture yourself shedding layers. Fear, desire, pride. One by one they fall away until only essence remains. Pure awareness. This is transcendence. The moment when you are no longer defined by circumstance, no longer trapped by identity, no longer shaken by the world. The mystics knew it. The Stoics hinted at it. The sages lived it. To transcend is to awaken. To awaken is to become unshakable. And when you live here, everything changes. You no longer chase abundance, you are abundance. You no longer seek power, you are power. You no longer fear death, you are beyond death. This is the highest state. This is mastery fulfilled. Now, look at your life again. Look at the hours that remain. Will you return to old chains, or will you rise above them? You have walked this far. You have tasted the wisdom of silence, detachment, faith, mastery. Now you must embody it. Not tomorrow, not someday. Today. Stop waiting. Stop delaying. Stop pretending that you are not ready. Live now as if abundance is already yours. Live now as if power is already in your hands. Live now as if the life you imagine is the life you already hold. Because the truth is simple. You are not becoming. You are. So rise. Stand unshakable. Breathe as one who knows. Walk as one who cannot be moved. And remember, the world does not give power. The world recognizes power. Live as if abundance is already yours, and it will be.